Let's talk about Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season is almost done. The Super Bowl is on Sunday, but that doesn't mean you can't be without the fun. The big board tournament for Underdog is open pre-draft. We don't know where the rookies are. It's an exciting time for you to start your best ball experience on Underdog and win cash prizes. Through their slick mobile app and user-friendly site, you can join a league and draft teams in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog are going to help you get started with a deposit match of up to $100 in bonus cash when you sign up and make your first deposit with the promo code FFF. So just visit UnderdogFantasy.com, go to the App Store or Google Play Store, sign up with the code FFF, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code FFF.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Fanalists Podcast, powered by UnderDog Fantasy and presented by Fantasy Data, home to some of the industry's most accurate rankings.
Welcome in, everybody. We got Midnight Madness on the books tonight. Yes, that's right. It's midnight East Coast. It is midnight, actually, but it's going to be 1 a.m. soon for Bradley. And we are here doing an Underdog Fantasy big board draft. It's a pre-draft tournament, only $10 entry. So get them while it's hot, because pre-draft tournaments hit different. I mean, we're estimating coaching schemes. We're estimating free agencies, rookie landing spots. It is the ultimate test of knowledge, in my opinion, when it comes to drafts. And it's not easy streets out here, Bradley. It's the diehards, it's the sickos, right? It's everybody who are football diehards. I mean, who else in their fucking right mind is drafting in February? Us. That's who.
I mean, it's us, or I don't know. Some people get lost in some of these drafts, and it's a lot of fun seeing AJ Green drafted in the third round in a few of these. Maybe we'll get lucky tonight. Things get wild on Midnight Madness, Billy. You never know. You're walking into the wild.
Some people over here have a couple drinks, and next thing you know, they got three tight ends.
You know what? I haven't been on the Underdog Fantasy app yet in a while, and I've been doing some pick'ems, and there was some awesome one with Joe Burrow. And what's this big board tournament? Well, it's $10. Let's just do it. And there are some who are just real sharp on this, and some of our industry friends have already done 40, 50 of these drafts, and we'll see if we get some in tonight as well. But I'm really excited to do this with you, Billy. Kick it off in the Underdog best ball streets.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and let's get this thing kicked off. So why don't we try to see if we can land in the same room? I got the board pulled up here on the right. I'm ready to hit enter. Let me know when you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
Enter. And yes. 7 people in my room.
And waiting for 7 people.
Perfect. So it looks like we're in the same room. So we have some time to sit and wait. So why don't we I'm going to
talk about
ADP.
Let's talk about ADP. We'll take it off with that, and after we go through a little ADP, we'll talk about the tournament too. What are some expectations for rosters and things like that? But we'll hit on ADP first. That's a good one.
Yeah. So let's head up to here to rankings. It automatically defaults to the slate. So we'll get off the slate because everyone knows Cooper Kupp is number 1. But let's up here to 2022 early. Way too early, I should say. Way too early fantasy football best ball rankings. So this has been kind of a hot topic this week, Bradley, is Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, 101. Who do you have?
I've taken both at the 101 spot so far, and I felt like I was getting a better value with Jonathan Taylor. And I think Christian McCaffrey, there's no player in the NFL that has a higher floor than McCaffrey when he's on the field. But I've seen McCaffrey fall to the 110 in some of these drafts, the 107, the 106. So while I think that Christian McCaffrey is the better player I feel like I'm losing out on value if I take him at the 101.
Yeah, injuries are a concern, right, with Christian McCaffrey for the previous
Also,
couple of
the
years.
exposure to Jonathan Taylor. He's not good at getting outside the 101 or 102. So if you want exposure to Jonathan Taylor, you're going to have to draft him at 101.
Yeah, I haven't seen McCaffrey go much at 101. It's been pretty much all JT. I've seen a couple McCaffrey shares, but I've seen McCaffrey slip as far as like 106, 107 in some of these drafts. People are just sour right now, it seems like. They've been burned by Christian McCaffrey 2 years in a row, and they just have no interest in taking him again with a top pick. And it's understandable, but as an analyst, as a best ball player, like Christian McCaffrey to me represents one of the highest ceilings that any player can offer here. I don't think it's
floor. And look, the reason why he's being discounted so much is because he's considered now injury prone, right? But if that's the argument, I would vehemently disagree with he's injury prone. There have been a vast different amount of injuries that McCaffrey's suffered over the last few years. And I don't think it's fair to characterize him as injury prone and not characterize the likes of Austin Eckler is injury prone or Derrick Henry is injury prone. Especially when you're drafting running backs in the first round, all of them have high risk to injury because they're going to be used a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment. First wide receiver in the rankings right now, Cooper Kupp. Do you think it's an overreaction on the fantasy world to take Cooper Kupp as the wide receiver 1 in fantasy drafts, or do you think it's rightfully justified seeing what his monstrous season turned out to be?
I think in redraft and best ball tournaments that are single year, I think this is totally fine. Cooper Kupp offers a ceiling that not many other wide receivers have. Jamar Chase would be able to rival it, Tyreek Hill on a Patrick Mahomes good day. But I mean, Cooper Kupp, if you took away all of his touchdowns, he would still be averaging something like 17 fantasy points a game. He'd still be a wide receiver 1. That's just a testament to the amount of catches he's having, the yards downfield. Matthew Stafford, the breakfast narrative lives strong between Stafford and Kupp this year. And there's rightful excitement. If Jamar Chase didn't have T. Higgins on the Cincinnati Bengals, I would say Jamar Chase there. But for just next year, Cooper Kupp has shown no signs of slowing down.
Eric Henry, okay, he's going right now 4th overall in these underdog drafts on average. I cannot pull the trigger on this. I mean, the big dog, the king himself, was phenomenal to start the season, and I was underweight on him. It was beginning to look like a major mistake on my part as he was just running for 100-yard after 100-yard after 100-yard, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. But then, as we all know, injury knocked down his season. And now he's sitting with 5 screws in his foot. Are you comfortable drafting Derrick Henry in the top 4?
No. There's just so many ways. Comfortable, no. There's no comfort with drafting a running back coming off of. Hey, Billy, I got a question for you. How important are feet to running backs?
Important, unless you're like you can fly or something.
Pretty important. He broke his foot. He was, I would consider, rushed back, and he didn't look good. And look, looking at his injury history, he really hasn't had much of an injury history, which is, bodes well for him. He didn't get really started until later on in his career, like AJ Dillon trajectory, like started very slow in his career. But he's 28 years old. He's on an offense that lost their offensive coordinator last year, and we saw the difference. Ryan Tannehill came cratering back down to earth, and we also saw a capable backup in Donta Foreman emerge. In addition to Dontrell Hilliard and Jeremy McNichols had his moments, there were times in this Tennessee offense where you said, well, not that like Derrick Henry doesn't matter, but that other running backs can still be useful in this offense. And, Henry's coming off of 303, 378 rush attempts, 219. He was on pace and 16-game pace for 438 rush attempts in a 16-game season. We've never seen that many in the modern day. So there's just so many ways I could see it going wrong for Derrick Henry. I know that he was on pace to set a career high for receptions, but getting 30 receptions is not going to make the PPR difference when you're competing against an Austin Eckler or a Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor, who are involved in the pass game, don't have the competing mouths or capable backs in the way that we saw in Tennessee. And the lack of efficiency is one of the least stickiest of the offensive statistics. So I think that this is just a risky play. There's a lot of ways in which Derrick Henry can fail in 2022.
My boy Austin Eckler, I agree with you 100%. That's why I moved on. I just there's 100% agree. Again, I'm fading him. Hopefully, I'm not wrong 2 years in a row. But I
think I'll have to draft him some places, but I'd rather be underweight this year.
If the discount is deep enough, I will take him. But it's not like I'm going to completely fade a player. Like when I say I fade a player, I fade him until the value presents itself. Like I'm not going to sit here and completely fade him beyond belief, right? So if I can get him towards the end of round 1, turn round 2, okay, that's a value. But I don't think that his ADP will fall that low, especially when consensus comes out and drafts closer to August and September. Right now, we're with some of the sharpest minds in football drafting in February, and he's still going in the top 4. So once the masses return, I could see him honestly slipping into top 3, top 2 at times, and I just will not be paying that price.
But that's like when this board opened, when the ADP opened, it was Jonathan Taylor, it was Derrick Henry at the 2, and then Christian McCaffrey. So we've actually seen over the last week Henry fall to the 4th spot. So I think that the sharps are picking up on that Henry is going to keep falling. But I wonder, you're right, Billy, when the more casual players are going to come back into this draft and bump his ADP back up, that may be the time where, right before then is going to be the time to draft Derrick Henry.
Just say the word, Bradley. Fish. When the fish come out and the sharks feast, Derrick Henry will drop. My boy Austin Eckler here at number 5 had a great year, Bradley. I think he finished pretty good last year. What did he finish as? Running back 2, I believe, on the fantasy season without looking it up, top of my head. Hashtag analysis at midnight with wine. But I think I'm stalling here for Bradley to look it up if you couldn't tell.
But it's loading here. He finishes the running back 2 and running back 2 overall in points and running back 2 in fantasy points per game.
Oh, I'm good. I just had that on top of my head.
20
Bradley.
Total touchdowns.
That's running back whisper status there for you, Bradley. Number 3.
You and I both had him in the top 3.
We did. Yeah. And it was, it's major hit on both our parts. As much as I love Eckler, news is they want to reduce his workload. I'm not happy about that. But I think it's probably a wise standpoint from a Chargers perspective. From a fantasy perspective, it sucks. But from, an NFL franchise perspective, it makes sense. I'm happy with Eckler there. Although I think I would feel more comfortable, honestly, drafting Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson in this spot over Eckler when it comes to best ball. What about you?
I took Eckler at like 103. I've seen him go 105. I really haven't seen him go outside of the top 6 very much.
Yeah, me either.
But to speak to like getting more running backs involved, will Eckler get 206 attempts like he did this year? Maybe it goes down to 170. But Justin Jackson had almost 70. Larry Roundtree had 36. Joshua Kelly had 33. So there's definitely room. And this is a sleeper pick, I think, for the LA Chargers in the NFL draft, is to get more of a bruiser back or a back that's this is too much draft capital. I haven't looked at where Kenneth Walker would show up, but he might be a really good complement, like a higher level complement to an Austin Eckler type, where Eckler is more of a weapon. He had 12 rushing touchdowns, but he had 8 receiving touchdowns this year as well. So
don't curse my boy Eckler. Get out of here.
Look, I would love Austin Eckler to repeat, but I think
unlikely.
A lot of
a lot of
20
risk.
Touchdowns is
a lot.
20 touchdowns is unlikely.
Jamar Chase going as wide receiver 2 off the board, followed by Justin Jefferson at wide receiver 3. Initial thoughts, Bradley?
Justin Jefferson. I feel like I've always been underweight on him, which has been a mistake. But Jamar Chase, Billy, in my pre-season rankings from 2021, he was my wide receiver 13, and I was laughed out of our podcast when I brought that up preseason, and I said he's an alpha. He's going to eat first. He's a phenomenal player. There was no need to bridge any gaps between him and Burrow. They had immediate chemistry. All of the offseason narratives of him trying to catch balls, that was BS. And those are the types of stories that we need to keep our eyes out for this coming off season, when we know players who are extraordinarily talented, transcendentally talented, are getting discounted in the way that Jamar Chase was. And
that is a lot of syllables for midnight, Bradley. My brain can't handle that.
So I like Jamar Chase's upside. I think there are questions about what the new head coach in Minnesota, I think it's O'Connell.
Minnesota.
Not official though. Not official yet, but I wonder what they're going to do with Jefferson, what that Vikings offense is going to look like. There have been rumors about Kirk Cousins, but we've seen Justin Jefferson almost elevate the stats of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I agree. What with that quarterback situation, how that pans out, we shall see. I still ultimately think that Cousins stays. But rumor mill is he's going to be on the move, but we shall see, I think. Looks like we need one person left in this room. So keep an eye on that for me, because I got this screen pulled up in its place. I kind of got to dip back and forth. But it looks like we're getting close to filling this thing.
This is exciting.
Yeah, countdown time. Najee Harris here after Justin Jefferson. I can't count right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 overall, followed by Tyreek Hill.
All right, we're live here, Billy.
Okay, let me close this bad boy out. Let me get him over here.
And it looks like I have the 5th pick in the draft.
I'm just going to leave. If we were doing this live, I see where you're at first.
Yeah, I have the 5th. You have the 9th pick.
Okay, we're not going to be sniping each other, so we can leave these things. I can leave it as is then. I don't have to worry about you sniping me right before.
Do you want me to share the big board?
Yeah, let me. I think as soon as this goes live, or as soon as the draft
you can click the little waffle next to your name.
What?
Oh, let me do it then. Let me do it.
Usually once the draft starts, it says draft board, like right here.
Yeah, I got it up.
Okay, I usually wait. I'm not as advanced as Bradley is with items. Do you want me to exit out? Boom. Look, beautiful.
I got you.
Wonderful.
All right, it goes Taylor Cup. Okay. We've got Austin Eckler. Oh, McCaffrey's going to be a smash for me at 5 if he's there.
Wow. We just talked about him falling. No.
But he didn't.
Rip Bradley's
So now
soul.
I've got a decision to make. I've got about 20 seconds here. I don't have any Jamar Chase right now, or at least I don't think so. So I'm going to go with Chase. As I said, we are avoiding Henry. I am avoiding Henry. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I would take Chase over Najee Harris, Tyreek Hill, Dalvin Cook.
Hold up, Bradley. I'm going to share the screen to where it's your window, so that way it fills up the entire section. See how it's a little smaller? So just hit close out real quick. Stop sharing and then share again. Share it as a window.
Okay, hold on. Working on it. This is my new Mac too, so I'm navigating all the new things. So share screen, window.
Boom. Watch, it'll fill out that whole area now. It'll be a little bigger. It's not much, but it's slightly enough to cover my overlay.
Did that work? No. Oh, it lost permission. Okay, give me 1 second.
Technical difficulties at midnight. Well, this guy's gonna take. No, not quite. Yeah, I got
All right,
you.
one more try. Okay, if you want to do it, you're up on the clock though.
Okay, I'm gonna select Najee.
Okay.
And then share screen, window, boom. There it is. Filled it.
Excellent.
Little bigger for the viewers.
I love it.
Najee Harris. Do you want to talk Najee?
Sure. Things couldn't get much worse for Najee last year, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like it like that was the floor. I feel very confident in Najee, especially from a volume perspective. Looking at what I think he's going to be able to do here in 2022, the ceiling's pointing up, I think.
Yeah, imagine if the Steelers...
son of a bitch, he sniped me. Excuse my French at midnight. I was not prepared for that.
Billy's already sniped. Oh, AJ Brown off the board? Oh, man.
Yeah, that's who I was going to take.
Oh,
getting
man.
sniped in February is like a whole nother sniping level.
It is.
Yeah, I think
look, things couldn't get much worse with Big Ben as quarterback. Ooh, DeAndre Swift. I was hoping he would come to me, but
no, not today.
Yeah, things couldn't get much worse. Ben was just getting the ball out so quickly, and all of the targets that Najee Harris was getting, lots of dump offs, but that's not keeping defenses honest. Defenses could play close to the line of scrimmage, and that showed in Najee Harris's yards per carry.
So round one, for those who are listening on podcast and not here with the visual representation of the board, Jonathan Taylor goes to the 101, Cooper Kupp 102, Austin Eckler 103, Christian McCaffrey 104, Jamar Chase 105, Derrick Henry 106, Dalvin Cook 107, Justin Jefferson 108, Najee Harris selected by yours truly 109, Tyreek Hill 1.10. Deebo Samuel snuck up into the first round at 1.1. He's been going in
that's like a little early.
Yeah, he's been going like 2.3, 2.4 on average. Devontae Adams at 1.12, followed up by Travis Kelce at 2.1, Joe Mixon at 2.02, AJ Brown at 2.03, DeAndre Swift at 2.04 by yours truly, Alvin Kamara or Alvin AK-47 at number 105. Javonte Adams, and then Josh Allen already first QB off the board at 207. Stalder takes Stephon Diggs at 208. Mark Andrews goes 209 as the tight end 2 off the board. Nick Chubb. I haven't seen Nick Chubb fall into the second round in all 6 drafts I've done so far. So that's the first time I've seen him in the second round, or I should say climb the second round. Then Antonio Gibson.
Usually he's an early third round pick, right?
Yeah. Like early to mid third. Antonio Gibson at 211, CeeDee Lamb at 212. So that's the first 2 rounds here on the board. Now we're at the pick 301, and we'll update the podcast listeners as we get to the end of round 4. Any surprises, Bradley, first 2 rounds?
I'm looking at Deebo Samuel at the 111. That was a little surprising, to be honest. I know that he was fire at the end of the season and was used in a lot of different ways, but Kyle Shanahan is making mistakes running Deebo Samuel up the middle, and that's only going to last so long with a player who has documented history of injuries that have tendencies to recur. And I just think that it's a mistake so we can bank on Deebo Samuel. Oh, yes. Hold on. I'm on the clock. Yes. Let's go.
Bradley's a little excited. Check the pants, Stalder. Check the pants.
I am. So, okay, to give an update to our listeners, I went Jamar Chase in the first round, Stephon Diggs in the second round, and T. Higgins in the third round. So my Cincinnati stack is shaping up quickly. I'm pretty stoked for that. I want in on the Cincinnati offense. They were bizarrely run heavy for like 3 or 4 weeks. Taking those out, oh man, like wheels up for the Cincinnati Bengals offense. I don't know what they're going to do on Sunday. They're supposedly playing from behind. That's what the lines are. I think it's what, plus 4.5 or so for Cincinnati for the Super Bowl.
Yes, 4.5 right now.
But Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are going to be a dynamic duo for a long time, and I want to take shots on them as my wide receivers. So, anyways, I know that was a pivot from Deebo Samuel.
So happy Saquon Barkley went big before me. I did not want to be tempted with him at 309.
Oh, whoa! We just saw a big mistake here, Billy. Did you see at the 12th pick, the 12th picker had Travis Kelce selected as the 201, and then the 312 also selected George Kittle.
Oh yeah, so he went two tight ends early. Yep, it's
Yeah.
not necessarily a mistake. It's a strategy.
In this format, though, you can only play one tight end and one flex. Oh man. Let me look at who's available here.
So it looks like Stalder is going 0 running back right now. Let me pull up the board. You have 3 wide receivers. I'm going a little balanced approach this time. I have 2 running backs, 2 receivers. 12 hole right now has 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 1 receiver. And then we have the 11 hole is 1 running back, 2 running backs, 1 receiver, and 1 tight end. Outside that, it's been a pretty standard board.
Yeah. I was hoping the DJ Moore would get to me because then I could fill that flex. I really like DJ Moore there.
Yeah, for me, it was Mike Evans or DJ Moore, but Mike Evans is a solid 1,000 yards and probably 6 to 8 touchdowns. So regardless,
we don't know who the quarterback is. Okay,
so it can be Uncle Rico, and he's still going to get 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Give me Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah,
even if it's Winston again. I don't think it really matters. Mike Evans is. You look at free agency too. Godwin may leave, although I expect him to re-sign because of the injury. But if he does leave, look at all those targets available for Mike Evans.
Yeah. Oh. Him and this is a deep cut, Scotty Miller. Miller's got the speed though.
Yeah, he's just. I don't think he's going to be as important with Tom Brady gone. That's like a Tom Brady, bump, right? Like he loves those type of receivers.
And he tried to love on Tyler Johnson, and it just didn't look good.
Man, F Tyler Johnson. That dude cost me $20,000. Like all he had to do was catch 1 pass in like week 15. 1 pass.
So you've got Najee Harris and Deante Johnson, Pittsburgh stack going. What is your outlook? We talked a little bit about Big Ben and getting the ball out early, but how do you think that a new quarterback is going to affect Deontay Johnson?
I'd rather not talk about my Pittsburgh stack that was just happened to fall in my lap. It's not something I'm really comfortable with. But that being said, I don't think it can be much worse than what Big Ben or what his performance was this year. I'm hoping somebody like Minshew lands in Pittsburgh, or even somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think either of those options are going to be an upgrade from Big Ben this past year. That being said, Deontay Johnson, I think, is one of the most underrated wide receiver ones in the NFL. Yes, he's got hands of cement, but when he's getting 12 targets a game, it really doesn't matter if he's dropping 1 or 2, because just the amount of, it does matter, but just the amount of targets that this guy's getting is unprecedented in this league, and it's what's propping up his stats and keeping him in this wide receiver 1 tier.
Billy, we just saw the first rookie go off the board at pick 50, the 5.2, Treylon Burks. He's been skyrocketing up. He's been drafted in this draft over Amari Cooper, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman, Devonta Smith. Has the hype gone too far for Treylon Burks?
I just, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on a rookie this early in the year. Like if I knew his landing spot, if I knew the scheme he was going to, if I knew the team, I'm able to analyze it more. But like this early in the draft, I choose to kind of avoid wide receivers that I don't know what their landing spot's going to be. Hold up, I'm on the clock.
In the meantime, I was able to complete my Burrow, Chase, Higgins stack.
Nice. That's a beautiful stack.
Mm-hmm. And I took Travis Etienne in the 4th round. 4.8.
I like Etienne. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. I loved him last year too. I owned him so much.
I might pick Lawrence later on. We'll see.
I'm going to snipe you like you sniped me.
Anyways, I'd be so ticked. Todd even called me out on that. So Bill, you went Michael Pittman here, the wide receiver 1 for Indy. He was a wide receiver 2 last year. We don't expect T.Y. Hilton to re-sign. Zach Pascal is a free agent. Paris Campbell should be back, though. Are the Colts in wide receiver business in this draft?
Oh, it's a great question. The Colts seem to just they just continue to surprise me year in and year out. I would say they probably do add a receiver or maybe a cheap free agency, but I just don't see them going out and spending like a high draft capital or a lot of resources on the position. They have kind of a hybrid Kylan Granson at tight end who's able to run out of the slot. I think that's a name that we would be able to watch during camp. I'm on the clock again. 1 second. My boy's there. I'm going to own so much of this kid. I freaking love it. I love his position where he's going this year. Matt Kelly from Player Profile reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you do a 2-minute video on a player that you like this year?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Who's the player?" And I said, "Darnell fucking Mooney." And I said, "I'll leave the middle name out in the video, but I love his ADP. I think he finished without having the stats up in front of me. I think he finished the season as wide receiver 22. Fact check me, please.
He had 140 targets.
And now you have no Allen Robinson, even though Allen Robinson really there last year is the question. You have, no Jimmy Graham. He seemed to build, trust and a connection with Fields. And I just think that Darnell Mooney is going to lead this team in targets again. And I just sniped
the Herbert Allen stack.
Oh, did you? You stack blocked?
Yeah, I did. He's proud to be pissed at me now.
He just stack blocked in February. It's the best thing ever. Bradley's that guy.
No, it was not at all intentional. It was that I thought Mike Williams was the best wide receiver value on the board right at that point. It was Mike Williams, Hunter Renfrow, Brandon Cooks. If we got more clarity about the quarterback situation with Houston, that would be good. But I don't know what Brandon Cooks is going to bring, but Mike Williams is a better best ball candidate, I think, than Brandon Cooks. Man, Williams finishes the wide receiver 13 in fantasy points per game this year.
Yeah, when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off, right? He's one of those receivers. It's just all or nothing. I want to update the podcast listeners real quick on the draft. So we finished off round 3 a bit ago. 4-1 was Calvin Ridley, followed by Elijah Mitchell at 4-2, Josh Jacobs, Elijah Moore, Travis Etienne, Zeke Elliott in the middle of the 4th, No, I went backwards. My mistake. 5. We finished the Calvin Ridley. 5. Tyler Lockett, Treylon Burks, we talked about. Justin Herbert at 5-3. Chris Godwin at 5-4. Joe Burrow, Amari Cooper, Lamar Jackson, Breece Hall in the 5th round. That's a little early. I took Michael Pittman, Kyler Murray, and then we have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 5'11", Devonta Smith at 5'12", and then 6'1", we have Leonard Fournette, 6'2", Dak Prescott, 6'3", Marquise Brown, 6'4", I took Darnell Mooney, 6'5", Dallas Goedert, 6'6", Gabe Davis. That's just early for Gabe, and I love Gabe Davis, but that's so early. 6'7", TJ Hawkinson, 6'8", Stalder takes Mike Williams, 6'9", Devin Singletary, 6.10 Hunter Renfrow, 6.11 Trey Lance, again a little early for my liking, 6.12 Michael Thomas, again early for a player who hasn't played in over a year, Michael Carter at 7.1, 701. Brandon Cook 702. Brandon Ayuk 703. That's a good pick there. I like Ayuk's value this year.
If he fell to me, I would have wanted him there.
You were gonna take him.
Yep.
Kadarius Toney at 6'4". Stalder takes AJ Dillon at 7'5".
7'5".
Yep. Odell Beckham at 7'6". Kenneth Walker at 7'7", and Caleb Plays FF is on the clock, and I'm on deck. So let me take a look at what we have.
Let me explain myself on AJ Dillon. He actually had 33 receptions this past year, which is crazy to think that there were over 100 targets plus to the running backs, and he got 30% of those. I thought it would be way less, half of that. But AJ Dillon caught 33 passes out of 35 targets, capable pass catcher. And we just saw Aaron Jones, his role reduced significantly. There were 5 games out of 15 this year where Aaron Jones had less than 10 rushes, and those were in full games that he played. So AJ Dillon, the bruiser, I'm going to see him escalate. He may be one of the big running back values in the draft here, because he's only going to increase in his role, and Aaron Jones is only going to decrease in his role. And we saw what Jordan Love did in the Jordan Love game start against Kansas City. Aaron Jones had zero targets, 0 catches. AJ Dillon had 4 catches in that game. So we know who's more comfortable with. Okay, Billy, you went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah,
in the 7th round.
I love his value this year. I understand he hasn't stayed healthy. The Chiefs have been non-committal to a one-man backfield. I don't care. I look at this offense, and yes, they had some troubles this year, but they were still one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. They're always across the 50-yard line. They're usually within the red zone, and that's just going to create more fantasy opportunities for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We've seen how dynamic he has been when on the field and when he's healthy. And as my running back 3, I look at this and say at round 7, I'm willing to take the gamble on him and trusting in the talent and the offense.
All right, you're back up on the clock. Rashad Penny just went off the board at pick 87. So you went Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then after that, Adam Thielen, Rashad Bateman, Garrett Wilson to finish the 7th round. Pick 8.1, Aaron Rodgers, 8.2, Jerry Jeudy, and then Penny, and then you went with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I'm not much of a quarterback early, and this is what I consider early, even in the 8th round. I usually don't like taking a quarterback till round 10, but I've noticed in these underdog drafts, I'm going to say it, there's donkeys, and they're taking 3 quarterbacks before like around 12 and 13, and I have found myself with my tail between my legs taking somebody like Jimmy Garoppolo as my second quarterback, or somebody like even Carson Wentz, and just like not having that trust in your quarterback too is a scary situation to be in. So I don't have a lot of teams right now where I would consider my, quarterback 1 to be unquestioned, right? Like you look at like most of my quarterback 1s, I'm going to say out of the 6 drafts I've done so far in February, the number 1 quarterback I have right now is Justin Fields, right? And as well as he played down the stretch, there's still a lot of question marks surrounding his future and his productivity on this Bears team. Yes, Nagy's gone. That's a benefit. But that being said, like once you get outside like the top 12, 10 in quarterbacks, there's a lot of uncertainty. Like even with Russell Wilson, even with Aaron Rodgers, like you look at these teams, we don't know where they're playing next year. Are they going to play in Seattle? Are they going to play in Green Bay? We don't know, right? And you can speculate where they're going to play. Jalen Hurts, as productive as he was, right? Again, not necessarily on the hot seat, but probably going to be looking over his shoulder a little bit this year if he underperforms. So
Gardner Minshew, Minshew mania,
right? So we're seeing a lot of the same trends as we did in 2021, where quarterbacks are going early and often, simply because of the uncertainty and the unknown at the position right now. As that kind of the muddy water starts to clear, as we get into the draft and we get into camp and situations become a little bit more readable, we'll see that ADP start to settle. But that being said, I don't want to be caught my pants down right now and have somebody like, Kirk Cousins and, Trevor Lawrence is my 1-2, where I'm having to spend, 2 top 13 picks in my quarterback position. I'd rather wait now on quarterback 2 and just play it safe with somebody I know is going to be at helm every single week for the Rams.
Yeah, no, Matthew Stafford is probably one of the safest quarterbacks, a lower end quarterback 1 with mid to upper quarterback 1 upside. I'm kind of ticked because Miles Sanders went off the board here, and that's who I really wanted at this spot. I'm looking at the
sneak
board
up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to go Juju Smith-Schuster here at the 101st pick, 9.5. At the 8.8, I went Dawson Knox, and I felt that there was just a significant teardrop from Dawson Knox down to Dalton Schultz and Pat Freiermuth and Noah Fant and Mike Gesicki. I felt that there was just the offense is different. The Dawson Knox didn't have like a huge target share. He only had like a 13% target share, but he is trusted. He's athletic. Cole Beasley could be gone next year. Emmanuel Sanders could be gone next year. I know Gabe Davis, like there's the hype. There's a reason why Gabe Davis went the 6'6", but Dawson Knox is a candidate to increase his target share next year based on his performance that he had this year.
Yeah, I love Dawson Knox. Like his opportunity in 2022 is looking like it's going to increase drastically. And as efficient as he was with the limited targets that he saw, if he's able to see a 15 to 16% target share, we're easily talking a week-to-week tight end 3 or higher, right? Like, top 3 tight end, not tight end 3. So a top tier tight end in the NFL with more target share. I mean, he was seeing games where it was like 2 targets, 2 touchdowns, and like 14 yards, right? And like if we're able to see him get 6, 7, 8 targets a game and still keep up that touchdown efficiency, like 2-1 touchdown a game, like he's gonna have some serious PPR points.
All right. You selected Tony Pollard at the 9.9. But while let's see, we kicked it off. Dawson Knox I selected at the 8.8, 8.9 Kareem Hunt, 8.10 Jalen Hurts, 8.11 Drake London went off the board. Russell Wilson and Miles Sanders at the 8.9 turn. Dalton Schultz went off the board. James Conner, Cordarrelle Patterson drafted in the 9th round. I don't like Cordarrelle. I don't want to be caught with Cordarrelle Patterson very much at all. Juju Smith-Schuster, I selected the 9.5. Cortland Sutton at the 9.6.
You're on the clock. I'll take over from there for you. 9.7 Justin Fields because you're on the clock. 9.8 Allen Robinson. Go ahead.
A 9.9 you went Tony Pollard. And 9.10 Tyler Boyd. I was actually glad to not select Tyler Boyd. I didn't want to get so stacky. And there's like, of all the lack of wide receiver upside, like Tyler Boyd does not have it in that Cincinnati offense. Like, what are you going to get 1-2 blow up weeks the entire year? No,
well, he's also a free agent.
Is he this year?
Yeah,
I thought he had one more year.
I don't know if it's restricted. I'm going to pull it up right now. So let's go Tyler Boyd contract. I don't know if it's RFA or if he's a UFA. Oh, I'm wrong. He's got one more year. Okay.
That's what I thought. Anyways, so he's going to be on the team. Chris Olave at the 9.11. There, Pat Freiermuth and Christian Kirk at the 9.10 turn. Ramondre Stevenson at the 10.2. DJ Chark at the 10.3. You get Midnight Madness singing from Bradley tonight. Noah Fant, you selected, and Fant was your first tight end off the board, Billy. There's been a lot of speculation about Fant's future in Denver. There have been hypothetical packages of him going to Green Bay in a package. Well, Aaron Rodgers would leave. And I don't think
But when
that
you
that's
look at
good for
when you
Fant.
look at young undeveloped quarterbacks, what position do they usually target?
Well, the tight end and the
The
running
tight
back.
end. So Jordan Love is going to be targeting Noah Fant. Or if that package does not include Noah Fant and it includes like a Cortland Sutton and a Jerry Jeudy, now Noah Fant gets Aaron Rodgers, right? So I looked at it as a hedge. I think that either way, I think Noah Fant, I have never really seen Jordan Love play much football, but I think he can't be much worse than Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. And so I think it's going to be an upgrade regardless.
After Fant, we saw Desean Watson get selected at the 10-5. And I think that that's a hedge that he's going to play. He's the quarterback 14 in ADP right now. Zach Ertz was selected at the 10-6, James Robinson the 10-7, Melvin Gordon at the 10-8. And Melvin Gordon has just produced. When we thought he would fall off, when we thought that he would just leaving the Chargers or even his second year in Denver, we thought that things were not going to go his way, and he's just become an undervalued asset. I think at the 10-8, he's just going to provide a floor for me at running back. That's what I was looking for Melvin Gordon. I didn't want to take as many risks. I know he's going to be possibly a free agent, but he's leaning to return to Denver, and which is why I'm also a little out on drafting Javonte Williams either in the late first, early second right now.
And Melvin Gordon's one of the most underrated running backs in the league right now. I mean, people are hating on him, but he still continues to be productive in his games. I know he's getting old, but he's still performing. And until that changes, I think that you can draft him. You know, what it was is you take him. Let me pull it up. 11th or 12th round.
At the 10-8, 116th overall.
I mean, that's fine. Like, you're not getting. I mean, you're looking at players like Ramondre Stevenson, James Robinson with injury uncertainty, Chase Edmonds not knowing where he's going to land as well. I mean, that's probably about the right area. I would take him ahead of Patterson, who went around earlier. I'd take him ahead of. That's about it, probably. But still, I think that's probably about the right area. Maybe half a round earlier, and I'd be comfortable with him there.
Josh Larkey, shout out to Jay Larkey. He sent out a tweet 2 hours ago, and he said he wanted people to guess who was being drafted at about the 120 overall on UnderDog. And over the last 3 years, Melvin Gordon, who he's talking about, 900 total yards, 9 touchdowns in 2019. In 2020, 1,144 total yards, 10 touchdowns. In 2021, 1,100 total yards, 10 touchdowns. 2022, Larkey says he's consistent, and is sharp decline. That's a question mark. I'm not sure that there's going to be a sharp decline because there's going to be. He's shown in the past that he's a capable pass catcher too. So, I think that that's also a valuable asset that teams and pass blocking. All of those things. All right, Billy, you went Jacoby Myers and Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, Myers finished as wide receiver. Myers finished wide receiver 34 in PPR. Another underrated wide receiver. I think that that was with Mac Jones' rookie campaign. I think that Mac Jones is going to take a step forward. Myers will start catching more touchdowns eventually. When he had the longest streak in NFL history with receptions and no touchdowns, So I think that that streak is broken, and I think that we're going to continue to see him score more. And then I went with a second tight end here, just to be nearly done at the position and to also stack it with Matt Stafford. Just looked at my other options, and I just really didn't care for the McCole Hardmans, the Palmers, the Chenaults at this point. When you can get somebody like Marvin Jones later, or you can get Byron Pringle later, who has equal upside in these offenses. I thought about taking Tua there. I like Tua's upside this year. Waddle and him showed some great chemistry. They get my boy from the Niners over there now as their new head coach, Mike McDaniel. So I think that they're going to drop a lot of creative packages for Tua in this offense. So that was my other option that I was considering there, but ultimately decided to stack Tyler Higbee with Stafford. and kind of be done. It was kind of a teardrop too, looking at tight ends after that.
All right. Well, I am pretty much done with running backs here. I selected Joshua Palmer in the 12th round, wide receiver, but in the 13th round, I went Kenneth Gainwell. I felt Kenneth Gainwell, there's a lot of discount with what Miles Sanders is doing, but we saw Kenneth Gainwell being used a lot around the goal line at the beginning of the year, and then Kenneth Gainwell being used near the end of the year, even with Jordan Howard. So Kenneth Walker. Yeah. I really wanted to utilize. Why is Kenneth Gainwell?
Oh,
Walker.
nice. He made it back to me. So it worked out. Like I said, I didn't want the Chenault because I believed Marvin Jones was going to make it back. And Marvin Jones saw 21% of the team's target shared last year. Chenault saw just under 17. I continue to think that Marvin Jones is going to be the lead target here for Trevor Lawrence. And I don't think this offense can be much worse than it was last year under Urban Meyer.
Laquan Treadwell is a free agent. Jamal Agnew had a serious hip injury. The offense couldn't get much worse as it was last year. So, there you go. Yeah. All right. We're starting to get into the nitty-gritty of now you can deviate a little bit more from ADP.
This is what I call to get your fucking guy arounds.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get caught looking at the top 5 or 10 players. You want to start scrolling and just seeing if there's someone who's just mispriced or undervalued that you're scrolling through, and that maybe there's a position of need that you have of those types of players.
And you just hit the hammer on the nail for me. Like Daniel Jones is a positional need for me. We talked about the uncertainty at quarterback and the positions. It appears to be that the Giants are committed to Daniel Jones at least for one more year. And I'm looking at the rest of the quarterbacks on the board, and you have, Carson Wentz, whose future is uncertain, Matt Ryan, who seemed to have fallen off a cliff, Winston recovering from that major injury, and we don't know his landing spot. We have Pickett, which is undrafted at this point, Baker Mayfield, who I don't hate, but I'm gonna not go down that road again this year. Jared Goff is actually a name that I think that will actually put up some decent numbers for later ADP from a team who's going to be passing a lot. That was someone else I considered about just waiting on and stacking him with Swift, but chose to go the Daniel Jones route, and just because the team seems to be pretty committed to him for 2022.
Yeah, I went Evan Ingram in the 14th round. Ingram is a free agent as well, and he's just an athlete. He struggled with his drops, but we saw an athlete who struggled with drops move teams and become a top 3 tight end, and that was Eric Ebron on the Colts. So I wonder if Evan Ingram finds a new home and is just utilized in a better way than he was in 2021 when he had a career low target share. This is a player who definitely commanded a higher target share than 15% of the targets. So Evan Ingram, I felt, was a value as well. He's been a top 10 tight end pretty consistently when he's gotten the target share. So getting in the 14th round, and with Dawson Knox, I've got 2 upside tight ends there.
I like it. I've owned a lot of Evan Ingram. I think he's pretty much on like 80% of these rosters so far that I've drafted, because I was getting him in around 15 and 16. You took him. I think you could have got him on the turn, but I understand why you took him there. It's just, for me, it's a major teardrop. Like there's
also a tight end run right there,
Yeah. And when you look at like I look at him, like I like him more than I like Uzomah, more than I like Dan Arnold. Like, to me, Evan Ingram
is a free agent at the end of the year.
Correct. But like, in terms of like, even just talent wise, like he's up there with Tyler Higbee for me. Like I would not be surprised, like after free agency, if we see Ingram start climbing into around 12 and 11 again.
All right. I think I'm going to go with, okay. You were talking up Jared Goff, and I think things can get better for Goff. He's got a good offensive line. Amon-Ra St. Brown showed out. They're probably going to draft a wide receiver, or they're going to sign an alpha. Tyrell Williams was useless. So I'm going to go with Goff here. Swift was out for a while. Hawkinson was out for a while. And Goff was still like a mid-ish QB2. Despite all the things that went wrong at the beginning of the season for the Lions, but they really picked it up and turned it around, and that team is hungry to win. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Goff is maybe a higher end QB2 this year. I could see him being quarterback 13 to 15, maybe. Depends on what weapons they add.
I think a little high for me, but not much. I'm going to say more like 15 to 19. So ballpark.
I mean, he was quarterback 22 in points per game last year, but not. Yeah, it's not exciting. But when we're getting down to the mid 15th rounds, there a lot of the other pass catchers that I have picked are already taken. So
let me take a look at you. Oh, it doesn't show me on that side. I forgot. This side. So
the stack wise,
2562, and I'm 2472. So we're pretty similar in our approach right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit on wide receivers a lot here in the next couple rounds. One of the things I learned from last year is I took a lot of the Cole Beasley, Jamison Crowder, KJ Hamler types, and I would prefer to stay away from the pesky slot receiver here in the back end. Like we at least saw like the slot type wide receiver of Hunter Renfrow produce 600 receiving yards. But he was going even later. So I'm not going to really take chances too much on these slot receivers. I'd prefer to take, players like Donovan Peoples-Jones, who may have a low chance of hitting, but if they hit big.
Ah, shit. He was taken. Damn it. I was looking for somebody. He's gone. I was looking for Isaiah McKenzie.
Went DPJ.
Yep.
Yeah, McKenzie went off the board at the 15.4, so right before I was up.
Yeah, I thought I put him in the queue, and then I thought maybe I didn't click him, and so I was looking for him, and nope.
One of the players that I'm looking at here is did he go off the board? No. Here he is. In New Orleans, there's a speedster, and he just plays all over the field. And it's Deontay Harris, who, if he's not taken here, I'm probably going to take him. And I don't want slot receivers. I want players who will play all over the field or punt return for touchdowns. He's just got the game-breaking speed that whoever is quarterback would look for him. So if he's there, I'm going to take Deontay Harris.
Don't hate it. Don't like it.
Whatever.
I'm indifferent.
We're at the whatever stage.
This is where leagues are won, Bradley.
Marquez Callaway is still on the board. Yeah. So you went DPJ. I think DPJ is a fine pick. It just seemed like last year, every time they threw the ball, like Baker or Case Keenum threw the ball down the field, it hit Peoples-Jones in the hands and he dropped it.
Yep, hands of cement. I like that. That I already have Deontay Johnson. I'm just going to keep the cement stack going, and eventually they'll get some stickum on those hands, and then there'll be touchdowns. No, the drops are a concern, but you look at this team and their needs and what they have, and outside Laundry, who's aging, they don't have much at the wide receiver position. Will it be addressed during free agency? Probably. Will it be addressed during the draft? Probably. But that still leaves, a lot of target share to be open for DPJ. And we take a look at even like the Browns, who run a lot of 12 personnel, and they have David Njoku, who's a free agent now as well. And I just think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity in this offense, and whether he has cement hands or not, opportunity is going to be knocking. And we've said it time in and time, and every year, opportunity is king in fantasy football. Now, whether he squanders it, still to be seen, but I think that he hopefully gets these drops under control, and he gets on the same page as Baker here, and he's able to rectify those issues. So we shall see, though. Hoping my boy makes it back here. I got him in the queue.
Ooh.
My breakout candidate of 2021, who never developed into that breakout candidate.
You're welcome. I almost took him.
One more on the board. If this guy takes him, I'm going to swear. I swear to God.
He already did, but
I'm out of wine. And if he takes him, it's going to tilt me.
And Billy's out of wine. He's out of F's to give,
Oh,
There
good
you
thing.
go.
I got
There
him.
you go. There
Brian
you go.
Edwards, let's go, buddy. Hopefully, I keep saying it. This is the year, Bradley. I sound like a Browns fan now. This is the year. We're going to do it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh. Names I keep staring at late that has me wondering, like Cole Beasley, right? Like I look at him and say, could be a value this late in drafts. Like it really could be. Like comes back to Buffalo. Like what happens?
He's had 106 or more targets in each of the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, I know. I keep staring at him. It's hard. It's hard not to take him. Oh, it doesn't matter. Someone took him anyways. So that's that. It just settles that topic now.
Well, sorry, bud. Oh man, let's see here. Where do you think Jimmy Garoppolo ends up? Because he's still up here on the board, and I don't think the 49ers trade him to a place that he's not starting.
I think it's going to be,
or at least is the lead candidate to start.
I've seen somewhere like Pittsburgh as a possibility.
Washington.
Yeah, Washington is another good option. I saw a pretty crazy theory floating around the other day. Was did you see Brady say that nothing is I forgot the exact quote. Essentially saying that
nothing is sealed, and Brady may go to San Francisco.
Yeah, like
Brady gets his rights get traded to.
I just got sniped in round 18 of February by Keyshawn Vaughn. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna do it then. I'm gonna do it.
All right, you homer pick.
It was a little bit of a homer pick, but
this is so late though for Trey Sermon. Does it 208? You're just taking your shot on a third.
No, it's not just that. So the Niners only have $2.9 million in cap space. Mostert's not coming back. They're not going to be able to afford him. I think Jeff Wilson's a free agent. I'll double check that in a minute. But that leaves Trey Sermon as the number 2. I mean, yes, they're going to run Debo. Yes, they'll throw in Kyle Juszczyk because that's what they do. And Trey Sermon was trash last year. But that being said, he probably develops a little bit more this offseason. He probably gains the trust of Kyle Shanahan and the coaches a little bit more. Round 18, Mitchell showed that he wasn't able to stay healthy the whole year. He's probably going to start a couple games. Why not throw the dart in round 18?
Well, I'm going to draft a rookie here who had a 100-yard receiving game in week 18, and that is Emir Smith Marsette. 103 receiving yards. He had a touchdown. He's the wide receiver 20 week 18. And he only played 47% of snaps. So This is a player who, if Adam Thielen continues to get hurt or is a cap casualty, or if KJ Osborne regresses, Emir Smith-Marsette is a player that I'm taking late as a wide receiver dart throw.
Or if they don't draft anybody or take you on a free agency, or if everyone else in the plan falls off the earth, then yeah, maybe.
Okay. No, this is a player who had a great burst score. He did all right in college, decent breakout age. He was handpicked by Rick Spielman. So in the 5th round, still 22 years old, 100-yard receiving game under his belt. Not many rookies can say that. Like, we're talking Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, a couple others who were rookies last year who had 100-yard receiving games. Emir Smith-Marsette.
I want to see like a list of rookie wide receivers who've had 100 yards. I bet there's like players that just no names ever, right? You just don't even know who he is.
Sure, but I'd rather take my shot this late on a player who at least showed me something.
I get it.
All right, we're gross. We're gonna pick out Kenny Pickett because the heck with it. Maybe it's Goff and Pickett in Detroit. I don't know. There's not much left here. I mean, if I wanted to, there are some interesting running back shots I'd take in the last round, but I don't have any exposure to Kenny Pickett so far.
Bradley, it's 1 a.m. your time, and I'm very impressed with your sharpness and and being alert at 1 a.m.
You need my misclick of Nick Westbrook-Akine. No, but I appreciate you being so kind and looking over where from round 15 onward, it's just, I don't know, I'm staring into the abyss.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've come to talk with you again.
Austin Hooper is free this year, Bradley, and he is a $13 million cap hit. He ain't going nowhere.
This is true, and that's why
no Njoku, right? Most likely. Yes, they have what was the rookie's name again? I'm blanking on his name. Harrison Bryant. Thank you. Yep, Harrison Bryant. Again, wide receiver position is kind of a void. It's kind of a late round, like 3rd tight end that I've been really liking taking because he's going undrafted in a lot of these leagues.
Ooh, and Njoku already got picked too.
So. Yeah, he went early. I had him in my queue.
Yeah, he usually drops to like he was picked. I don't know, where did he end up going? He was off my board. Let me scooch over here on my screen. No, where is he? He went in the 16th round.
Yeah.
I was hoping Albert O would come back to me in the last round here.
I'm debating if I want to go 3 wide receivers or if I want to take my 10th wide receiver right now. I got 15 seconds to decide.
There's a tight end that I'll probably take here too.
Cool, awesome. I timed out. I made my decision for me, or I misclicked. I was actually going to go Davis Mills, but sure, Paris Campbell works too with Michael Pittman. I can't quit Paris Campbell. I own him a lot already. I may be too stupid to quit, but I refuse to believe that he's going to remain injured his entire career. Like at some point, he's going to break the curve.
He's got to hit. He's the Rashad Penny. He's your Rashad Penny,
Yeah. And look what happened. It finally made it. I'm here.
Yeah. Do you think Penny holds on to the RB1 spot for 2022 in Seattle? I mean, they've got to bring someone else in because Carson's got the neck injury, and saw
toast.
The depth really fell off after Rashad Penny. So, all right, here you talked about him earlier, Billy, and he's a sleeper tight end for me. Jack Doyle is a cap casualty. Mo Alley Cox,
Kylan Granson. Kylan Granson, do it.
Casualty. Kylan Granson, baby. Let's
I
go.
I love it. I love Kylan Granson. I mean, you look at what in college he ran like almost 60% of his routes out of the slot. I think he is going to take a step forward. I think they're utilizing more, and we'll see who it eventually becomes the quarterback in the system, and whether it's Wentz for part of the year or not. We'll find out.
I mean, Wentz went to Ertz, he went to Goddard. This is he's a player who he was a 4th round pick, so it wasn't like he was doing nothing. And he's got the athletic measurables. Ran a 4.69, 83rd burst score, 78th agility score, above average catch radius. Kylan Granson, sneaky pick last round. All right, Billy. Do you want to do a recap of our teams here?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the final board here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to read through yours. So round 1, you took Jamar Chase. Round 2, Stephon Diggs. 3, tight end T. Higgins, the stack for your Bengals stack. Travis Etienne, the 4th. I love that start, Bradley. I think Etienne's going to be a PPR machine in this offense, and it at least gives you an anchor type running back with some major upside. And we've talked about this off air. We see a similar trajectory for Etienne of what we saw of kind of DeAndre Swift from last year, kind of going late in drafts, 3rd, 4th round at the end of the year, and could potentially become, a round 2 value. Joe Burrow to complete your stack there, then followed by Mike Williams.
It was a little expensive, but worth it.
It was a little expensive, but you saw a bit of a quarterback run. So I don't think he would have made it back to you by any means. So you wanted it, get your damn guy at that point and complete your stack. So I'm fine with it. Mike Williams at round 6, not crazy about it, but I don't hate it. AJ Dillon in round 7. I like the pick. Dawson Knox in round 8. I love it. Juju in 9. I love it. Melvin Gordon in 10. I like it. And then Kyren Williams in 11. I'm going to be honest, I haven't done a lot of research on this rookie class yet.
I'll take a moment and talk about Kyren Williams. He is a 21-year-old running back out of Notre Dame, over 1,000 rushing yards each of the last 2 seasons, 200 plus rush attempts each of those seasons, 31 total touchdowns. And here's why he's going to be fantasy relevant year 1. He had 35 and 42 receptions and 90th percentile college target share. This is a player who not only can carry the ball on the ground, but also can catch through the air. So I wonder how the NFL is going to value him, and getting him this late in a half PPR, where his landing spot is going to be, important. That's, definitely going to be the case, but he's going to have a role. So he can carry the ball. He's not like Kenneth Gainwell, where Gainwell struggled to, be between the tackles. Kyren Williams could do it. So I wonder how the NFL is going to value him in the draft.
Okay, so that was your 11th round pick. 12th round, you followed up with Josh Palmer. I love me with some Palmer. 13th, Kenneth Gainwell. I like the upside pick there. I mean, you're looking at other running backs in that area that are going. It's Myles Gaskins, Chris Carson, who's pretty much dead. Then you have McKinnon, Herbert. So I think that's kind of that last tier break for me. So I like the pick.
Maybe I should have taken Herbert, but win some, lose some.
No, I like the pick. So Evan Ingram there at 14. I think you could have got him in the next round, but then you would look like you were already going quarterback. So get your guy again at that point and do what's best for your team in terms of necessity, which you filled both those voids between.
Yeah, there was also a little bit of a tight end run. I wondered, if he would get picked off before then. And
very well possible, because the major tier break after he goes off. Jared Goff in 15, Deontay Harris in 16, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine in 17. I can't even say that dude's name. It doesn't even matter.
Emir Smith Marsette.
It doesn't even matter. Round 18, round 19. Pick it.
You tell that when you're on the podcast with the Podfather on Thursday, you say Bradley drafted. I'm going to make sure that you do this. I'm going to hop on, the comments and make sure that you say Bradley drafted 18th round, Emir Smith Marsette, and I want you to get his instant reaction. That's what your obligation is to me.
I'm going to do his instant reaction right now. Matt's going to look at the camera and be like, why the fuck did he draft him?
No, I guarantee you. 18th round, Amir Smith Marsette.
Oh, we shall see.
You'd be
I'll
surprised.
I'll double check the player
Beer
profile
bet
stats
you.
on
Beer
him.
bet you.
I'll double check. I'll double check what they have to say about him. But I'm gonna say, who the fuck is that guy? And why would he draft him? Can he pick it in round 19? Kylan Granson. I love Kylan Granson in round 20. He was my round 20 pick last year in a lot of leagues. He needed to be my first cut, but he was. This is the year, Bradley. This is the year. Year 2.
All right, Billy. I get to do the honors with. I get to do your
do it.
Your team.
Do
I get
it.
the honors. So yeah, at the 9th spot, you drafted Najee Harris, 1.9. Came back around the turn at the 2-4 with DeAndre Swift. I love Swift. If he falls to the back end of the second round, that's smashity smash. But you got to get your guy if he's not gonna. He's not gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
3rd round, Deante Johnson. And you were able to survive a no wide receiver run around the turn and were able to get Mike Evans too. That was a powerful move. I think
it
that
was sexy as hell. I loved it.
Deontay Johnson gives you the floor and Mike Evans gives you a ceiling.
Yep.
So I really like how those, are pretty balanced out. You mentioned that this was a draft of balance at the beginning. And I think that that's the thread that's woven throughout the rest of your draft. You go Michael Pittman, who's a pretty balanced wide receiver. Darnell Mooney, who's going to get targets. Allen Robinson is leaving. We don't know who's going to fill in the spot, but it's probably going to be an Allen Robinson 2021 target share-ish. Cole Kmet may take a step forward, other players, but I think Darnell Mooney is pretty safely going to be the wide receiver 1 for 2021 in the Chicago
Can you please
Bears
say his
offense.
middle name?
Darnell, well, no, I can't.
Darnell motherfucking Mooney. Thank you.
Okay, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at the 7-9. I think that's fine. I wonder.
It's very interesting to see ADP difference. So like on UnderDog versus FFPC, who has their best ball tournament open right now.
Yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and this is $10 best ball here on UnderDog versus $125 best ball on FFPC. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going in the middle of the 5th at FFPC right now. So it's very interesting to see the ADP difference in between the drafters in high stakes and in $10 leagues right now. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, like round 6. So I've been getting him pretty frequently in round 8, but we saw a good run there in round 7 leading up to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
If he gets the workload, it's a valuable position, but I think that there's a lot of risk with Jerick McKinnon re-signing. I think Jerick McKinnon is the Achilles heel to Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he has the pass catching capabilities. He's more shifty than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Hilaire's like a little bowling ball, and McKinnon's more smooth in his routes.
McKinnon's got wiggle in his hips.
He does, even though he's a lot older. He's a lot smooth. You also have to remember too that McKinnon he was out for a couple years.
Yeah, he's got fresh tread on the tires, even though he's getting older. But
right.
I agree. But I don't necessarily think that any running back has to have the bulk of the carries and stuff. I think a running back with 45 to 50% of the carries inside the Chiefs offense can be productive. I would have preferred somebody like AJ Dillon or like Michael Carter, quite frankly, but somebody that I know in this draft room just took him.
Yeah. AJ Dillon, I like that pick. Anyways, Matthew Stafford here at the 8-4. And you mentioned how Stafford, once again, this is a team that is balanced. I don't know if there's a ton of upside, but it's hard to gain that type of upside. That probably the most upside play so far. DeAndre Swift and Mike Evans. A lot of the other players are, players who will not fail you. Or it's very it would be difficult to see a path where Darnell Mooney fails or Michael Pittman fails. It's almost impossible. So you've got some fail safes so far and a couple high upside plays. Tony Pollard here is upside play for sure, because we saw how Ezekiel Elliott just did not look the same. We know that there was an injury last year, but Tony Pollard looked dynamic. He looked spry. He even returned a punt return for a touchdown. I would feel better if he wasn't returning punts. Like, we would know that Tony Pollard made it once he stops doing the returns, in my opinion.
Not necessarily. I mean, Cooper Kupp's returning punts.
Yeah, I don't like that call either. I think Sean McVay makes some mistakes, and that's one of them. Like, there's also a prop bet. I think it's I can't remember where I saw it, but there's like minus 115. Sean McVay calls the first timeout in the Super Bowl.
He's so bad at clock management.
Like, anyways, okay, so enough of that. Noah Fant as your tight end 1, but you quickly came back in the 12th round, 2 rounds later with Tyler Higbee. I feel like Fant has the better athletic profile and has the larger upside, but Tyler Higbee is tethered to a stronger offense. So I feel like that's once again balanced out. Jacoby Myers is the target leader for New England, and I don't think New England's going to do much at the wide receiver position. I think they're just going to continue to nurture Mac Jones here.
Yep.
Maybe they add one more wide receiver and upgrade over Nelson Aguilar, but I can't imagine that they move away from Jacoby Myers given how well he's played.
I don't think so either. And Kendrick Bourne was like a wide receiver 1 through like weeks. I forget the weeks, but it was like middle of the season.
Marvin Jones in the 13th round. I think that's a value. There's a lot of uncertainty about who else is going to be, catching passes for Trevor Lawrence aside from Travis Etienne. Dan Arnold, Dan the man. Daniel Jones here is an upside quarterback. So you have a safety net in Matthew Stafford, but I sent out a couple tweets a while back, and when Daniel Jones had almost all of his weapons or all of his weapons, so he wasn't missing Galladay, or he wasn't missing Ingram, he wasn't missing Barkley, he wasn't missing, why am I blanking here?
Slayton.
Darius Slayton, when he wasn't missing Kadarius Toney, when he was missing 2 or fewer of those players,
he was so horrible. When he wasn't missing every one of his targets,
which was true. Like, how good can you expect a quarterback to be if he's missing like the players who are supposed to help make him good?
When Daniel Jones wasn't playing with his wide receiver 5, he was pretty good.
Right, exactly. When he's not throwing to John Ross or Dante Pettis, Daniel Jones was comparable to about the quarterback 13 and a points per game basis. Robbie Anderson, I think that that's a great value at the end of the 15th round. I'd rather take him over Sterling Shepard. I think Braxton Berrios was a good value there too in the 15th round by Punch.
Berrios was the other person in my my queue at the time.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is an upside play. Brian Edwards is an upside play. Trey Sermon is an upside play. Austin Hooper. There's a lot of ambiguity in what the Browns offense will look like. So that's taking a shot on a team that's probably going to involve their tight end a lot. And if Njoku moves on, exactly. If Njoku does move on, although there have been rumors that he'll resign, I don't know. I think Njoku, he went in the 15th round. I think that's a little too 16, early. Yep. 16th round. I mean, get your guy at that point, I suppose, but still he went, okay. This is where the Midnight Madness happens, because B Money 878 at the 3rd pick. Once we got down to pick 16, he went David Njoku, tight end. 17, Donald Parham, tight end. Pick 18, Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback. Pick 19, Brevin Jordan, tight end. Pick 20, Tyler Conklin, tight end. He went 4 tight ends in the last 5.
He's got 5 tight ends in this build. Oh, that's drunk drafting. Okay.
And
continue.
Mike Gesicki. Yeah, no, that's so bad. Anyways, and Paris Campbell, he's Billy's Rashad Penny for this year. So he's calling it now. Billy, is Paris Campbell your Rashad Penny?
Possibly. Yeah. I'm going to say Paris Campbell is not going to only play 2 games. Like, I think he's gonna. I think he may play
the over on 2 games.
He may play 3 this year. Well, who knows? No, I think I like the
2.5. That's questionable.
Like, when you look at talent, like Paris Campbell has talent. You look at this offense, and we said it earlier, right? T.Y. Hilton's probably gone. We have tight ends who are going to be.
Pascal.
Yeah, so there's a lot of target opportunity, and if Paris Campbell's able to remain healthy, he should be able to capitalize on that. Round 20 pick. I mean, you could do much worse.
Yeah, he's only played 15 games in 3 years, so.
So is the line set at 5 this year?
I don't want to be going into Paris Campbell game line making. We'll leave that to the pros. On
5.5 over under, Bradley. 5.5.
I think that you went safety a lot at the beginning with a couple upside plays, and then went pretty much all upside at the end. So I like how that build was almost balanced in that perspective as well, that you went very, I wouldn't say conservative. You were kind of limited by your draft position, but you got upside where you could in the beginning, and then you just went straight upside at the end.
And so, and that is exactly what I do in these early drafts. When I look at February drafts, I want my early round draft picks to be safe, right? I'm not going to be spending a top 2 pick on, a Jalen Waddle. I'm not going to be spending a top 2 pick on Javonte Williams, who I'd like this year. But at the same time, Melvin Gordon resigns. He immediately is probably going to start slipping to round 3, 4,
sign me up for that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
there's not much more of a ceiling that Javonte Williams can, there's not many ways that Williams can accrue value between now and September.
Correct. And so ultimately what I'm trying to say is I like to build my builds. You hit the hammer on the nail, balanced first and foremost, but I like to go a little safe with my early picks and then just go heavy upside at the end, because at the end of the day, my price value perception, or my price value analysis, is going to be, I didn't give up much for that Paris Campbell pick. I didn't give up much for that Trey Sermon pick, right? But if I pick an upside play in round 2 or 3, I severely hinder my team in February, especially when we don't know what's happening in the draft, when we don't know what's happening with coaching systems, when we don't know what's happening with free agency. I'm going to go after players that I know for a fact have a role in their offenses, regardless of the coach, regardless of the system, regardless of the quarterback, right? Deante Johnson, doesn't matter. Big Ben was trash last year. You can't get much worse than that. So Deontay Johnson is going to be safe. Najee Harris, as bad as that offensive line was, is only going to improve here in 2022. So I look at those plays and say, I want safety, but I also want floor and ceiling at the same time in my first few picks. So I want, as you said, a very balanced approach in the beginning and then just pure upside at the end. Well, I think that's it, Bradley. You want to wrap this up, or anything you want to add before we finish?
Yeah, we've got a promo code. Just want to throw that out once again. You can draft on UnderDog, UnderDog Fantasy. You can draft on the app. You can draft on desktop. You Google Play. Download it anywhere that you've got your tablets and phones. Use promo code FFF at UnderDog for a 100% deposit match up to $100. The cool kids are all doing it. And if you get in today, of course, before the Super Bowl, there's a special prop, Billy, for Joe Burrow over 1 passing yard.
Free money.
If you go with the pick 'em, you pick at least 2 players and you can triple your entry. Yeah, and they already give you a free square with Joe Burrow over 1 passing yard. This is the time to do it. Time is now. Put in your money, and then you can draft with us. If you see FF Stalder or B Stalder in the best ball streets, or Museo in the best ball streets, you'll know it's us, and you can send us a message on Twitter and say, hey, we're here. Looking forward to drafting against you. but really want to take advantage of this FFF promo, it's a great deal. I mean, you can play with $200 instead of just $100.
I think it's a phenomenal deal. And like you said, that Joe Burrow line is free. It's free money, folks. Like you can literally get the free money that you got from the FFF promo code. And you can literally drop
$600.
That. They only allow you to put $25 on the line because it is free. It's free money.
Well,
but still, you can turn that $25 into almost $100 off a 3-pick entry. So all you have to do is get 2 right because Joe Burrow's gonna throw for 1 yard, right? So all you have to do is get 2 right now and triple your money, or 6x, I think is what it is. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but it's free
2
money.
picks is triple. Yeah, might as well. Yes, play it.
$75,
play it.
Free $75. Like enter it. So thank you everybody for joining. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna be doing a lot of these, folks. It's gonna be best.
It's gonna be a lot of fun this offseason.
Mania in the offseason. Join me. I'm gonna be here Tuesday with the Podfather Matt Kelly from Player Profiler. Thursday. Thank you. Tonight's Tuesday. It's Midnight Madness. We're tired. I've had wine.
Woo! Wednesday's today. Wednesday's today. That's tomorrow.
Yeah. Tuesday here still, technically.
Don't forget Emir Smith Marsette. That's your deal.
You gotta message me that. I can't even remember his name. That's how irrelevant he is. But we got the Podfather on Thursday, so make sure to tune in. We'll be live on that show. So this one was recorded live on Thursday, and then Bradley and I are back here on Friday with Bob Harris from SiriusXM Radio. We're gonna be doing prop bets. We're gonna be doing
the annual Super Bowl show.
The annual Super Bowl show with Bob Harris, the legendary. So excited, Bradley. It's been a big year for us. Much to come in 2022. And everybody, we'll see you all back here on Thursday. Have a good night.